Hello everybody, good afternoon and welcome to the United Stand. I'm Mark Goldbridge and this is your latest Manchester United news as we preview the Wigan against Manchester United FA Cup tie and also catch up on everything that's going on. Friday night, last show with the Christmas tree. Don't miss the Friday show tonight. It's going to be great. But it's good to be back doing a live show with you. Got the badge in there, actually, if you were quick enough to see that. But, look, lots to talk about. I mean, literally in the last 20 minutes, we've had an article coming out saying that Erik Ten Hag's job is safe. I really want to, entitle this video as Ten Hag's new era, a new start, deservedly or not. He's going to get that time. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the game against Wigan. The FA Cup game is absolutely massive for us as well. Want to talk about Varane. Want to, catch up with you. Great. I was watching some of the shows while I was away. I was only away for 24 hours, wasn't I? But the show goes on. Some fantastic stuff. I watched Maud's yesterday afternoon and Beth and Faz as well. But very good to be back and certainly looking forward to getting my teeth into a lot. And I suppose we'll preview the FA Cup game. Then we'll talk about what's been going on at Man United. I certainly want to tell you what my concerns are about INEOS and where I think they could make a big mistake, but where they could make a big bit of progress as well. We'll talk about Ten Hag's job being safe. Is that good or bad? Does he deserve it? And also we'll talk about some ins and outs, a little bit about Jadon Sancho, Varane as well. And also this Ecuadorian midfielder that we might be looking at called Zambrano. So lots to talk about. I hope you're all doing very, very well. The snow goes on. Comfortable minus 34, says Sammy. Yep, it's not really that cold where I am, but there we go. Amrabat's not going to play due to AFCON, says Oth. Well, look, there's a lot of uncertainty about Manchester United, and I'm pretty sure this will not be the team he picks. But what I will say is, and Dale says, I really want Ten Hag to be locked in and start thinking about a successful team for the future like everybody does. And I think this is a great point by Dale. Thank you very much for the kicking off with the super chats as well. But I think this is it. It's not the start of the season, but this game has to be the start of something new. We've seen Casemiro and Martinez back in training. We know that Mount and Maguire are not far away. And if the results continue to be bad when those players come back, he's run out of road. He's at the cliff edge, basically. He has to, he needs a car that can fly otherwise, because this is the end of the road. His only chance of turning this around is that the thing that he's been going on about actually happens. When I get my players back, this is when we'll start to perform consistently, and we've got to start performing consistently. But this game, the FA Cup, is so big for Manchester United. In a way, I'm excited about it because the standards have dropped so far, and I'll put my hand up and say that. The standards have dropped so far that the FA Cup is our Champions League. It's our top four. It's the only thing we've got, really. I think top four is impossible for us to get hold of now, but the FA Cup becomes massive for us and we have to take it seriously. Now, Wigan away in the FA Cup is winnable and should be winnable. But what I want to say from the very off is I know nothing about Wigan. I drove into Wigan once by mistake and it was a bit like going on a ghost train. You just never knew what was going to jump out from the shadows. Wigan, there's a place called Wigan Pier. It's landlocked. What's that all about? I mean, look, with all due respect to Wigan, I've only visited once and it was by accident, which says a lot. And they are a League One side, not far off relegation. So Dale's predicting a 3-0 win for us. Any comment on the Reguilón loan being terminated, says Alvin. I'll certainly talk about that in a moment. But look, Wigan should be beatable. But what I will say is that they're a League One side. They drew against Barnsley away in their last game. Barnsley are in the playoff positions. And they will work ridiculously hard. And what are two things that United struggle with? Playing away from home and teams that work really hard with a low block. They'll play a low block, they're away from home, and they'll work really, really hard. So Manchester United are not going to have it easy. It's that whole situation again, isn't it? Where we need to score first and we need to score early just to calm the nerves of the team. This has to be a win. This has to be the start of something. With Spurs coming up very, very close after it in the league, this has to be the start of something. So the team I've gone with, I think Binder has to start this game. I've got no idea what this is all about if Binder doesn't play. And I completely agree with you with Bay, who says Bienda's got to play. There's this ridiculous scenario where Onana is going to stay and play against Spurs and then he's going to fly out and play for Cameroon the next day. Embarrassing. It's an embarrassing way to run a football club, to have your goalkeeper playing 2 games in 2 days. It's desperate. You know, the pressure that puts on Onana against Spurs is incredible, because he really shouldn't be playing that game, but he is. And let's hope he has a good game. But the injury risk to me as well is massive. But Bienda has to play this game. Like, everybody will be playing their reserve goalkeeper. Ramsdale will play for Arsenal tomorrow. You know, Pep will use their reserve goalkeeper. We've not given a minute to a brand new signing. I find it incredible. We've not given 1 minute to a brand new signing. He's got to play in this game. But you know what? I've got a feeling he'll pick Onana. I really do. I think he'll pick Onana. But Bienda for me has to play in this game. I don't know whether Luke Shaw's back, so I've put him at left back. If he's not back, you put Delo there and you put Wan-Bissaka at right back. Evans and Varane at centre back have done very well, and we've got to take this seriously, so they've got to play. I would play Amrabat in the holding midfield if he's available. He's had a knock. He might have gone to the AFCON. We don't know. But if he's available, I would play Amrabat. Then you can put Mainu in the 8, because this is where I want to see Mainu play, and Casemiro could be back soon. So I'd start transitioning Mainu to the 8 position, and I'd have Amrabat at 6, Bruno at 10. And then I want to see that front 3 again. I want to see the front 3 that we saw against Villa. And it might just be a glimpse, because Villa played a ridiculously high line, and it suits, you know, Rashford and Garnacho and Højlund to run in behind. But you've got to go back to Rashford on the left, Højlund up front, and Garnacho on the right. I want to see that again. So that's the team I would go with. I'm absolutely convinced he will pick Scott McTominay. And it wouldn't be me talking about United if I didn't mention McTominay. And I think that, as I said at the start of the video, this needs to be the start of a new era for Ten Hag. Now, if Sir David Brailsford or Sir Jim Radcliffe or anybody else support Manchester United, they must have eyes. And if they've got eyes, they must know Scott McTominay's not good enough. And if they're not gonna pull him up and say, why do you keep picking Scott McTominay? I mean, I'd almost say this. If Sir Jim Radcliffe thinks McTominay's good enough, we're fucked. Because he should be calling Ten Hag into the office and saying, you lost the game against Forest because you brought him on. He ain't good enough, Eric. Like, if you're going to keep picking him, you're going to get the sack. But I think he will. I think he will. So, and then I don't think it will be a new start, because if he keeps picking McTominay in the midfield, it's not going to work. Now, the funny thing is, he'll probably score. This is exactly the sort of game that McTominay will score in, and he'll live off it for the next year, because that's what the pro McTominay camp do. They talk about 1 goal against, or 2 goals against Brentford, or the goal against Sheffield United, and they live off that forever. And he probably will score in this game, but he's got to start transitioning away from that. His best midfield 3 is Casemiro, Mainu, and Bruno. That's his best midfield 3. Start playing it. Now, if Amrabat's not available, I'll put Mainu at holding midfield. I'll play Eriksen and Bruno. But I just won't start McTominay. But I think he will pick him, because I think Erik ten Hag's quite stubborn. And as we've seen with the goalkeeper, and keeping Onana for as long as possible and not trusting Bienda, I think he'll play McTominay in this game, because he thinks if he scores, he can go, I told you so, I've been right to pick him, even though it's cost us loads of games, I've been right. So I think he probably will pick McTominay, but he's got to start transitioning towards the team that's going to keep him in a job. And the team that's going to keep him in a job is replacing Evans with Martinez and replacing Amrabat with Casemiro. And that becomes his best team for me. It's 2 players away from his best team. Casemiro for Amrabat, Martinez for Evans. So pick your best team. You start putting McTominay in there, you're not picking your best team. Simple as that. Coco's Revenge says, I just watched your video on VAR. Great video, but the issue also falls with referees to use more common sense when looking at the screen. I just think turn it off if you've not seen that on That's Football. But thank you very much for your super chat, Coco. And why are you so convinced that McTominay is going to be played, says Merck. Why are you so convinced that he won't be played? I mean, it just seems to be the story of the last few years. Afternoon to Beth, who's in the chat. Sir Jim isn't a manager, says Beth, who's in the chat. Well, no, he's not, Beth. But you know what? If you were doing a show on the United Stand and you said stuff like, let's play Onana up front, I would obviously send you a WhatsApp and say, are you okay? Do you want to have a chat? Because that's my responsibility. as part of the United Stand team. And that's what I'm saying. If Ten Hag keeps picking McTominay, Sir Jim Radcliffe needs to have a word with him and say, stop it. Stop it now, or I'm going to sack you. Simple as that. Anyway, look, I think we'll win. I've got to say, massively excited about this game because the FA Cup is suddenly, in a way, it's romantic. The FA Cup has become our holy grail this season. The FA Cup has become the most important thing for Man United, and therefore, this game's massive. It is a potential banana skin. I don't care what anybody says. We are not in the position where we can go into this game going easy for two reasons. One, we haven't played well this season, and two, it's the only thing we've got left. You know, it's like being down the pub, isn't it? And you're really good at darts, and there's a half decent player, and you know, if you lose your house. You know you should win, but you never know how hard they're going to play, and you never know how bad you're going to play. So I'm looking forward to this game. I'm going to go with the United win. I'm not going to go like Dale with a 3-0 win, but I'm going to go with a Man United 3-1 win. That's what I'm going to go with. Raphael says the negativity is back. I'd love to know what you mean by that, Raphael, and why you're so negative. Maybe because people in the chat are saying FA Cup is a dead cup, says Drip Football, so maybe that's what it is. But no, I don't feel like that. I feel that this could be the start of something. Really could be the start of something. So also almost has to be the start of something. And, you know, I look at the next few games. I think we've got Wigan, Spurs, then it'll be the next round of the FA Cup, hopefully. Then it's Wolves away. So we've got really 4 good games because we've got this mini international break, haven't we? So we have a weekend off after Spurs, and then it'll be the FA Cup 4th round. So our next 3 games are massive. Spurs in the league's massive, and hopefully you beat Wigan, and then you get another, you know, I want to beat Wigan, and then I want to get someone really shit at home. Like I'm thinking like Stoke or someone like that. So it's a massive month for us, and it plays into our hands to get Martinez and Casemiro back. Harrison says, what are your thoughts on Gutierrez, and do you think we will sign him? And same with Kubo, and do you think these are the right signings, says Harrison. I think they're summer signings, mate. I think they're summer signings. And, you know, it's like this Zambrano player from Ecuador. A lot of people talking about Zambrano from Ecuador, and he's the next Casido. I don't believe it. I don't believe it because we could have bought Casido and we didn't do it. So I don't think we'll buy Zambrano because I don't think we do those sort of things. And it's a great point. I want to talk about this right now anyway. I can't even name one player from Wigan. I know there's a basketball player called Andrew Wiggins, says Dale. Lovely stuff. And hi, Mark from Naples. I wish we didn't sell Kovar to Leverkusen. Could have been a young goalkeeper to grow for the future and could have saved some budget, says Juan. Yeah. And why do you think Real Madrid's Galacticos succeeded while PSG's Galacticos failed, says Kevin? But they didn't. They didn't succeed. The Galacticos of Zidane and Roberto Carlos and Figo and Ronaldo and Beckham didn't succeed. They won La Liga. I don't think they won the Champions League, if I remember correctly. But they didn't dominate. It didn't work. It's deemed as not working in relation to Madrid. Don't forget, we failed to beat Exeter in the FA Cup, says Akash. I remember with Sir Alex Ferguson and Ronaldo and Rooney playing Burton Albion and drawing at Burton. Do not disrespect Wigan. It's a massive, massive, massive game. And yeah, I think it's a difficult one. Apparently they did win a Champions League, but they didn't dominate. They didn't dominate by any stretch, and they had such an amazing amount of players. They didn't dominate. You know, everybody knows that. Heading to Dublin for a day from USA in a couple of weeks for my wedding. Favourite spot, says Farrell Wright. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Apparently I'm ignorant now because I couldn't give a shit about something that happened 22 years ago for a club I don't support. Sorry about that. I forgot. If you want to talk about football, you've got to shove your head right up the arse of Real Madrid and know everything about them. Sorry about that. I didn't realise that Real Madrid won a Champions League with the Galacticos. Well, boo fucking who. Couldn't give a shit. Anyway, back to Manchester United. Let's talk about Sir Jim. Let's talk about INEOS. So I feel like we've got a real opportunity here to make steps forward. But there are concerns. Glenny Boy says the FA Cup should always have been a big deal, as those players who watched City lift it last season should be determined to make amends. That's a great point. Glenny makes a great point. Favourite spots in Dublin, Farrell? Hairy Lemon, get yourself down there. Sinnott's, top of Stephen's Green, lovely. Sorry, but then I realised that. This is a great point by Glenny Boy, but we miss it because the mentality at our club is so weak. We lost the FA Cup final last year. That should live in your memory of we want to turn this around, but you know, we lose to Bournemouth. Manic, the Sancho deal isn't off. It's just not happening as quick as expected. He will still end up going to Dortmund. But look, INEOS at Manchester United now. Sir Jim's been there this week. It's been all smiles. Interesting story coming out in the last half an hour from Jamie Jackson, who is a writer for The Guardian, saying that barring a disastrous run of results, Eric Ten Hag's job is not in immediate jeopardy. As Sir Jim Radcliffe and Sir David Brailsford, priority is to thoroughly analyse what's going wrong and understand how to strengthen the club. You know what? I've got to say, and I'll say this, and I said it on Twitter before, if INEOS's plan is to walk into Manchester United and give everybody a chance, they will fail. If INEOS's plan is to come in with predetermined issues and start dealing with them from day one, they have a chance. I don't know what they're going to do. Some people come into a new business and give everyone a chance and therefore waste time on people who don't deserve it. Some people come in, do their homework and know the problems and start making changes, and they don't give people a second chance. For example, John Murtagh should not be given a chance. He should be sacked. Certain players should not get another chance. They should be sold. But I don't know, and you don't know. They know. If they're going to come in and go, clean slate, everyone gets a chance, they will fail. Ten Hag did this. He took no notice of what Ralph Rangnick said. He took no notice of what sacked Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And he came in and said, everybody gets a chance. And that's why no one was sold in the first summer. And that's why he is where he is. Because those players he gave a chance to and worked for him for a year have done what they did to Ole. Turned on him. Down tools. Inconsistent. If Sir Jim Radcliffe's a Manchester United fan, all Sir Jim Radcliffe is you or me as a billionaire, rich enough to buy Man United. He, as a Man United fan, for the last 5 years, on a Saturday night or a Sunday night, should be going, why did we do this? Why didn't we buy that? Why did he pick him? If he's a Man United fan, he shouldn't need to come into the club and do a review of everything. He should know what's happened to Old Trafford. Why is our fitness so bad? Why are we so bad at recruitment? Why are these shit players still here? Why aren't we buying players like that? If he hasn't come in with those predetermined thoughts, I'll be stunned. But we will find out very quickly, because if he's going to give everyone a chance, he's going to fail. He's got to come in like you or I and go, I don't care if you can bring me a fruit bowl. I'm not interested, Scott. You're sold. You're sold. You can wash my car. I don't care. But you're gone, John. You're gone. And that sort of thing has to happen from day one. And I don't know how quickly that's going to happen. Now, some people have got concerns that that won't happen because, quite rightly, I disagree with this, but some people have said, well, doesn't that work with the manager then, Mark? If he's giving the manager a chance, this is a guy who's lost more games in a season than anybody in Premier League history at Manchester United. He's lost bloody loads. I think he's lost more than Moyes did when Moyes got sacked, and Moyes got sacked in March. So why is he sticking with this guy? But you know what? This could be really clever from INEOS. You walk into the club, you don't make any waves, you know what you're going to do. We're going to back Ten Hag. Oh, in May, he's gone. He's gone because you're always going to sack him in May. You just don't want to make an issue of it in January. So, look, making predictions about what INEOS are going to do is like pissing in the wind. You're going to get wet and you're going to smell a piss. The bottom line here is nobody knows what's going to happen, but some people out there want to predict that they do, and they don't. They don't know who's going to get sold. They don't know who's going to be the manager next year. They don't know what the budget's going to be. They don't know anything, but they want to pretend that they do. And reality time, I really hope INEOS succeed because it's the only horse we've got in the race. And I really hope they're going to come in and kick some ass, because this football club, you know, it worries me when I read stuff like Sir David and Sir Jim want to take time to understand why Manchester United have failed over the last 10 years. Sit down with me for 10 minutes and I'll tell you now. It will take you 10 minutes and a pen and a piece of paper, and I'll list you about 90 things off the top of my head that you can get to work with now. It's not a mystery why Manchester United have failed over the last 10 years. It's obvious why we failed over the last 10 years. On a playing point of view, we have retained weak-minded, inconsistent players who should have been binned off ages ago. And on recruitment, we have overpaid for players that didn't deserve it and overpaid on transfer fees for people that didn't deserve it, because our reputation in the footballing industry is absolutely rubbish. The stadium has been left to rot and rust and is a laughing stock because the Glazers kept taking dividends in their own pocket instead of putting it into the club. Fitness-wise, we've been a joke in the fitness department for years. Bottom line, you need to recruit better people in Manchester United Football Club, whether it's coaches, fitness, we need better people in there. And as for why the manager keeps failing, there is nobody above him. It's like living in a barn with no roof. There's nothing there to protect the manager. There's no structure above him. Get working on those 5 areas and you will see a massive improvement very, very quickly. Get on with it. Get on with it. Yeah, the tree's coming down tomorrow, Ray. He is. But I am a little bit worried because I just think you know what? I was actually in a pub yesterday afternoon and someone was talking to me about Manchester United and they were like, they're not a United fan, they're a Villa fan, and they said, surely things will get better now. And I said, you know, sometimes it's like Christmas Eve, isn't it? And you're pretty sure you're going to get something nice the next day, but it's that nervousness of what if you don't? You know, what if I don't get that? And I feel a little bit like that at the moment. I've got to live in the world that I've told you about. There's going to be so much positivity spin out there about what we're going to do and this, that and the other. I saw some stuff yesterday coming out from credible sources that, you know, so many people at United are feeling really liberated by what Sir Jim Ratcliffe said to them. But then that worries me. That worries me that Sir Jim's gone and done a meeting and shook everyone's hand and said, we want to work together to get Man United back to where they are. Jim, Sir Jim, can I just stop you there? Some of these people are shit. You've got to sack them. You don't need to convince them. You're the boss, mate. Don't shake everyone's hand and make them like you. Fuck them off. Get rid of them. I don't give a shit. Don't walk into the training ground and get autographs for your kids. Just, you're the boss. Bin them off. Make them scared of you. Don't make them like you. Don't be worried about them liking you. Make them scared of you. Get rid of them. Create a fear environment. Look at what Pep does at Man City. He wins the league and he sells Sterling. He sells Jesus. He sells Zinchenko. He lets Mahrez go. We need to get that ruthlessness into the football club. So, look, I completely agree that it is spin and it's positivity spin. But I want to see the teeth. You know what? I suppose I'm ruthless on this, and I'm sure many of you are as well. I don't want to see smiley, happy people holding hands. I don't want to see, oh, look at Sir Jim shaking hands with Kath on reception. Well, I do want to see that. I think we all want to see that. But you know what I mean? The smiley, oh, I'm here and everyone likes me. I'm not interested in that. I would rather see a picture of John Murta walking out, you know, not crying, that's too far, but being sacked. That's what I want to see, because you know what? People say, oh, you're such an arsehole. I want to see people being sacked. I want to see people being sold. You know why? Because how many sad days have we had over the last 10 years where this lot have failed because they're not good enough? They don't need an arm round the shoulder. They need a kick up the arse. That's what I want to see. I want to see some teeth. I don't want to see INEOS. I want to see Jaws. I want to see Jaws the Revenge. I want to see some real ripping up of contracts and, you know, get this shit out of the football club and start building properly. Ruthless aggression. We ain't going to win anything with smiling. We've got to get ruthless. That's what we've got to do. And that's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. Akash, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you very much. I mean, if I'm being completely honest, I don't know why people were getting excited about all the pictures yesterday. That's not going to win us league titles. We've got to get back on top. And as DJ says, surely Sir Jim is not going to be like that anyway. You don't become a billionaire by being weak. No, absolutely not. And that's what I mean. I think that all these pictures and smiling and briefs, it's just positivity spin. And I want to get past that phase as quick as possible. And I want to start seeing ruthlessness. I mean, look, honestly, if Ten Hag had got sacked yesterday, I'd have hated it, but I'd have gone, whew, what's going on here then? I would have absolutely hated it, by the way, but it would have took my breath away. Tom Cruise in Top Gun took my breath away. I'd have been sat there going, what is going on here? Because, you know, I don't want to see him sacked. But, look, I don't want to see Varane sold, but I've got to be honest. I'd be sitting there going, what? Why has that happened then? I mean, my worry about Varane going is it's because of money and we haven't got any money. But on the other hand, you could read its ruthlessness. I just want to see, I want us to get to work. I think we're 5 years behind. And, you know, this review needs to take place, but I want it to take place quickly. And I also think that things could happen. Things need to happen and could happen before this review takes place. Yeah, definitely. He's not the real boss. He's only got 25%, says Just Chef. But he is in relation to the playing side of things. He is. He has got control there. Hi, Mark. I agree we have to be ruthless. Also, my best mate, John, is watching. Can you let him know I'm sorry for telling his mum about his girlfriend? Says Dylan. I need to know more, Dylan. What? John's your friend, is your best friend, and you let him know you're sorry for telling his mum about his girlfriend. What did his girlfriend do? Yeah, this is Dylan. This is so you're best friends with John, and you've told John's girlfriend. You've told John's mum about his girlfriend. What did his girlfriend do? My mind's going mad now. So what did his girlfriend do? Spill, Dylan. We all want to know. What's his girlfriend been up to? I'm thinking all sorts here. Anyway, what success has Sir Jim and INEOS had in football? His Swiss team relegated, Nice nothing, says Henry. Well, I'm not going to repeat myself, but I said this yesterday. There's no guarantees that things are going to get better under INEOS. I think they will, but there are no guarantees. And, you know, their plan could be, we can't afford to sack Ten Hag. Let's get on with what we've got and see what we can do. I don't know. Ahmad, Amrabat, Mainu in, Rashford, McTominay and Anthony out, says Varane. I'd like to see that front three given another chance. Anyway, Friday night show is going to be brilliant tonight. We're back to normal after the Christmas period, so it's going to be an 8 o'clock show tonight with the tree. The last night show with the tree, and then it's gone for a few months. Looking forward to the 8 o'clock show tonight. It's going to be a cracker, and looking forward to spending an evening with you lot. Hopefully, we'll get a comeback from Dylan as well. I mean, we're all waiting to see what's happened there. Yeah, I don't think he's going to come back in time. At least he wouldn't happen until the summer. And what were you going to say about Varane, Mark? Just very, very worried in general. Welcome to the Members Club. Low hit, by the way. Thanks everyone who supports the channel, by the way, and is a member, getting your badge in. You can do that by clicking the join button. Really appreciate your support. Got some really exciting stuff going on this year, actually. We've definitely got another Christmas show happening in early December. Bigger and better. It was such a good show in Manchester, and got some other stuff lined up for you as well. So thank you for supporting the channel. As always, if you are a member like Warren G or Hazim or Tina G or Rudrish, it's great to see all the badges in the chat. Getting the badge in. Thank you very much. Kabir's a new member as well. And you didn't talk about Reguilón. That was it. I knew there was something. On Varane, I don't think we should get rid of him. You look at that team with Martinez in it. That's our best. If you want to get back in a top 4 race, and you want to win the FA Cup, then you better be playing Varane and Martinez, because the minute it's Martinez and Lindelof, or Martinez and Evans, or Martinez and Maguire, you've weakened your defence. So why would you sell Varane? To me, if we sell Varane, we're doing it because we went out of Europe and we need to raise money, and that's not how. You know, what's new? What's new about INEOS if we sell Varane to raise money and don't do anything with that money? We want to be a football club, not a business. Don't do a business decision, because Varane and Martinez is our best centre-back pairing, and if you sell Varane, you've weakened our centre-backs. Don't do it. I think Sir Jim has to be strict and bow down to no one, and he needs to do what he needs to do, and anyone that's going to ruin his plans, they need to go, says Harrison. I agree. And also, hopefully Sir Jim does a review on the bouncers, what the players get, says Alan Noonan. I think he means bonuses. I completely agree with that. Look, as for Reguilón going back, let's just do a quick poll on this, because that's how I work, you know. Should Reguilón have gone back? Yes or no? Now, my issue with this is, I think this is financial. I have this enduring fear that what we're doing in the January transfer window is saving and raising money to cover the costs of not qualifying for Europe. I have this fear that Man United financially are in really big trouble and they're trying to keep it quiet, because Reguilón should have been kept till the end of the season. And the only reason we got Reguilón in the summer instead of Cucurella was because Cucurella was a full year, whereas Reguilón was until January, and then we could send him back. And we have sent him back. So obviously it was a financial decision to send him back. Reguilón is the only left back we've had fit consistently from August till Christmas. We've sent him back to rely on Luke Shaw, who's currently injured, and Malacia, who's been injured all season. I don't think we should have sent him back. I don't think he's good enough. I don't think he's good enough. And I think if you were asking me, is Reguilón good enough to get a long-term contract? No. But should have we kept him on loan until the summer? Yes. Of course we should have kept him on loan until the summer. We haven't got any fit left backs. And he was the only guy who spent time actually being fit. So what we're now going to do is, well, Dalot can play left back, but Dalot's not a left back. So I wouldn't have sent him back. I think it's a financial decision, and it worries me when we're making financial decisions over footballing decisions, because Luke Shaw could get injured again. Malacia, we can't even remember what he's like, and he has been injured as well. So for me, this is a business decision and not a football decision, and we should have kept Reguilón. Fergie was the superstar everyone in his reign. Players were more humble then and simply worked hard on playing good football. Now most focus on PR, says Chris. Fair point, well made. Luke, welcome to the members club. You're a legend. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. And we should have kept him because we'll get more injuries. I completely agree with this, Tony. Completely agree with this. But it's close on the poll. 54% said they would have kept him and 46% said they wouldn't. Thank you, everyone. You know, you've got me really excited about the 8 o'clock show. Now I'm back. Love it. Absolutely love it. And, you know, thanks everyone as ever. Oh, there was a super chat I wanted to read here. And I can't see it. Have all your podcast episodes been taken off Spotify, says Flavio. Goldbridge saves football. Spotify. Oh, yeah. They're not there. That's really weird. I will look into that, because I was just about to say thank you everyone for supporting the podcast. But appears they are not there at the moment. Which is weird. Let's have a look if anyone else has been... I'm doing something here that really shouldn't be doing live. Anyway, we're back at 8 o'clock. Thanks everyone for watching. I'm solving problems live on a United Stand show because that's what I do. Thanks everyone for watching. Legends, loved the show. Take care, and I'll speak to you all in a little bit. Thanks for watching. I can't end the show now. There we go.